Good evening, World Wide Web. Thank you for checking out my stock channel again. This is Rumble with a quick stock update. RUM. Rumble is up big today. Little boom spike after hours. We're looking at $10.85 we're up to. From $9.34 at the close. Good earnings. They did $20 million in revenue for the very first time. Still a very small company, I guess, but it was their best quarter by double, pretty much. I'll show you in a minute. Their one-year chart down 21%. Their 6-month chart down 23%. Their 1-month chart up 15%. And then today, well, I don't know what today's going to bring, but maybe another 10% or so. Rumble looks like they're still kind of in their infancy. They still haven't really grown up as a company. In 2019, they pulled up $3.36 million for the year, $4.5 million the next year, and then $9.47 million this year. In 2021. Going quarterly up through September of 2022, they were at $11 million for the quarter. Today they hit $20 million for the quarter. They still lost money. They've beat analyst estimates, which I guess had everybody all excited. Everybody wants to know how they did in comparison to the analyst estimates. But the fact of the matter is they're still, at best, they're an $80 million a year company. They have a long way to go. Their operating expense is $11 million. That's pretty good for a company that does $80 million a year. They should be able to, well, I'm sure they'll be pouring everything they have into making this thing a bigger company. They have $358 million cash. That comprises the entire asset line pretty much. They have $40 million in debt, which obviously they could pay off with their cash anytime they want to. Yeah. Outstanding shares, 279 million. With no price per earnings ratio, no profit, no earnings per share. How worth it is this thing? I don't know. Looks like they got this thing priced to the moon. $10. $10.85. Almost $11 for almost 300 million outstanding shares. All of them losing money. All of them negative earnings per share. Only at $80 million. This company's that small. And their market cap is $2.6 billion. Who sets these types of expectations? How are they going to get from 80 million a quarter, or a year? If you're tracking 80 million a year right now, how do you get 2.6 billion out of that as to the value of the company? And that's just the revenue. That's not even the profit. The profit on that was, negative profit. But if they did fine tune it to make a profit with that, let's just assume they could squeak 50 million out of there. Is this the 30-year valuation system that we're using now? I'm not really sure. Rumble should be maybe a $3 or $4 stock, and if you're really hot about it, maybe a $5 stock. This thing is just way overblown. I guess they think that it is going to replace YouTube or run such a high competitiveness towards them that they're going to get there. Year over year, it looks like maybe 25% growth in views, in minutes, in hours. And revenue is doing better than that. They're just kind of breaking out of their no revenue model and finally putting some ads on the site. I don't know how many ads can go on the site, or how many more can go compared to what they've got on there now. I mean, maybe they can work out some more revenue, but yeah, yikes. Until they show me something, I don't know. It just seems like if this thing, it could just stop growing at any minute now, or it could just, take off. But what would be the catalyst for such a thing? Everybody being mad at YouTube for censorship, YouTube disabling people that publish on the platform, we're not paying them, or deciding to demonetize them, or whatever you call it. Is this the group that's going to run to Rumble? And if this group does, do the people follow? Is that the way it works? Will you follow your favorite social influencer to Rumble? I don't know. I do not know. A lot of questions to be answered there. It's kind of like, I don't know. Google made their own social network after Facebook, and it's just still sitting there kind of empty. I don't know if anybody ever uses it, but there actually is one. It's a competitor to Facebook directly, and just nobody ever really gravitated. And they had all the flex in the world to get the gravitation, and they just couldn't do it. Some places are just not your places. I love Rumble as a website. I love the idea. YouTube needs a competitor. I'm really cheering for them. I hope they do well. But I couldn't in my right mind price this company at $2.6 billion when they do 80 million in revenue every year. And when they get to 800 million in revenue every year, I still won't think they're worth $2.6 billion. So just so you know where I'm at. Rumble, everybody. I don't know. You can't help that these things are where they're at. But they'll always be that way. It's just when people are, they see an upside to the moon. I mean, everything has an upside to the moon. You could start a pencil business tomorrow and take it to the moon. Mark Zuckerberg put together a website like in one night and took it to the moon. And that can happen at any time, on any industry, on any product. It just takes the right ingredients, I guess, and the right person behind it, and all those good qualities of never giving up. Rumble, $10.75. Ooh, 85 cents. Thanks for watching the channel. Like the video and subscribe. I'll do some more stock updates for you tonight. I'm going to try to run through a bunch of them tonight. Get more brands out there that we're going to start some coverage on. I like this one at $4 or $5, and that's me being 4 years ahead optimistic, not 30 years ahead optimistic. Good Lord. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good night.